decreases from a film to its sequel in the box office. Let's just say in the box office. So number 10 is Black Panther. The first Black Panther movie took the box office by storm with $1.3 billion. And at the time, the 5th highest opening of all time. So in 2022, they made Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And though it scored the biggest November opening of all time, Black Panther Wakanda Forever made only $859 million. Well, this is still huge. That's a huge amount. But still, there was a fall off or a difference of $441 million. Then number 9 is Transformers. The Transformers Age of Extinction made $1.1 billion at the box office and was the highest grossing film of 2014. But, the negative reviews settled in. And 1 week later, and the next film, The Last Knight, which I honestly prefer, it's actually a really good movie, made only $605 million, leading to about $500 million decrease. Number 8 is Fast and the Furious. Fate of the Furious was a huge success, making $1.2 billion. Then they made F9 The Fast Saga. Please pick better names. Like now F1 can only get 7 sequels. F9 The Fast Saga in summer of 2021 with COVID. Somehow it was able to make $726 million. But there was still a decrease of $510 million. Oh, technically, the next Fast and the Furious movie after Fate of the Furious was Hobbs and Shaw's, but the only Fast and the Furious movie I've seen. But that was a spin-off, so that's different. Then number 7 is Avatar. The first Avatar movie made $2.9 billion and is by far the highest grossing film of all time. Then in 2022, they made the sequel Avatar: The Way of Water, making $2.3 billion. Now, while Avatar: The Way of Water is one of the biggest films of all time, still, there was a decrease of $600 million. Trust me, we'll see some crazy numbers soon. Number 6 is Aquaman. The first Aquaman movie was a huge success, becoming to this day the biggest DC movie at $1.1 billion. And then, so I guess in 2023 they decided to make a sequel, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and it still made a good $440 million. I'm not gonna lie and say that's terrible. That's a great box office for most movies. But I mean, I think they put a lot of high expectations on this movie because the first one was so successful. So because of this, $715 million. There's a $715 million decrease. Then number 5 is Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland released in March 2010, and which made $1 billion. And because of this, we have the Disney live action remake trend. It created the live action remake trend. But in 2016, they decided, let's make Alice in Wonderland. Let's give it a sequel. So they made Alice Through the Looking Glass, which made just barely under $300 million. I think it's $299.8 million. So I'm just gonna put $300 million. And because of this, there was a loss of $726 million at the box office. Number 4 is Star Wars. Star Wars: The Force Awakens. When it came out, there hadn't been a Star Wars movie in 10 years. The last one was Revenge of the Sith. So they made Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and it destroyed expectations most likely at the box office with $2 billion. And at the time of its release, the 3rd biggest film of all time after Titanic and Avatar. So, and is today the biggest film of the franchise. So then, in 2017, they made Star Wars: The Last Jedi, which made $1.33 billion. And while it's the second biggest film in the franchise, and the biggest film of 2017, still there was a decrease of $740 million. And here's where Okay, now prepare yourself for some crazy numbers. Then number 3 is Joker. The first Joker movie back in 2019 made 1.080 million dollars, of a huge success. So they decided, you know what? Let's make a sequel. Obviously, I think Joker deserved its billion. It's a masterpiece. Then they made their sequel, which made 207 million dollars. I think they spent about like $350 million on the movie. 200 million on actually making it, and about 150 or something like that. Or 100 million on like marketing and all that stuff. The movie made $207 million. So there was a there was a decrease of $872 million. Joker Folie à Deux is still the biggest flop of 2024. Then number 2 is Captain Marvel. So in 2019, about a month or two before, about 2 months before Avengers Endgame release, Marvel dropped Captain Marvel back in March, and well, it destroyed it at the box office. I think it made already reaching over $400 million worldwide. I think people thought they had to see it just because, it's between Infinity War and Endgame. So, it had a box office of $1.1 billion. Now, then they decided to make, let's make a sequel. It's called The Marvels. It's a sequel to Captain Marvel. So, it was a huge box office bomb. Just historic box office bomb. It made $206 million. That is it holds a lot of unfortunate records. It's the lowest grossing MCU movie. It's the third biggest box office bomb of all time. And, well, there was a decrease of $894 million. Number 1 is The Lion King. The first Lion King movie back in 2019 made $1.6 billion. While Mufasa the Lion King this year, well, technically this is a prequel, but let's just use it here. Mufasa the Lion King still made a healthy $723 million. But its predecessor made $1.6 billion. So there was a difference of $928 million. That'll be all for today's video on the biggest decreases from a first film to a second film, or from a film to its sequel. Drop down in the comments what you thought would be the biggest decreases, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye.